What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. Hope you guys had a great day today. I'm going to go over WISA, PRSO, and JAGX. These are the guys that I traded, or the names that I traded today. And if you're focused and you're sticking to what you know, utilizing some great tools. For me, it's a book. Level 2, sticking to your daily setups that you like or that you're familiarized with. And today was a great day for holding. You know, PRSO, I did have a couple trades on this. I did keep a core. There was one time where I actually stopped out from this initial move, and then I re-added, and then I started to soak until I finally got the move out of it. So I'll break this one down. Start with the daily. I do really like these dailies, these sideways dailies that kind of break down a little bit, and then we start to gap up, and we have some pretty good structure. I thought this pre-market structure, this pop consolidation looked really great going into open. And the fact that it did pop consolidate for about an hour was also a good sign for me too. I almost thought it was going to go without me, and I honestly thought we were maybe going to test this window gap. I'm probably definitely going to keep this on a thumbnail and watch this for maybe a potential liquidity trap. Maybe it gets back over these particular levels I had a hard time with and goes into the window gap, but that's okay. This was the first move, and I'll hear. Let me grab this book. Okay. Book. All right. So this is where I thought I was going to get left, but I actually pulled back and tested an important area, right? Again, daily wise, 160s. Anything coming into here based off that structure, I like to look for weak opens. So I finally did. It did pop. It didn't just open up weak, but it popped up. Volume wise, it wasn't too crazy, but more importantly, down right here in the book, you kind of start to see some sellers get absorbed. And then we see some seller exhaustion right here. Once I saw this is immediately when I started punching 164, 165s for that first trade. I was able to catch a nice move. Over here, as you can see on the book, they did have a little bit of offer and they pulled it. All right, and then it was pretty much thin, pretty thin right here, all the way back up to 190s and then $2. They did something pretty slick on this. This is why I love the book, okay? They did a controlled walk down right here. All right. And if you're looking at this right here and you might be thinking like, hey, this is a 300K order. All right, 300,000 shares were here. Someone didn't want to get filled yet. How do I know? Because they finally pulled this offer as soon as it came close up to it. They might have taken some out up here. They saw some interest, maybe 10,000 shares, okay? As soon as this came into it, they pulled it. And this is why this thing kind of like shot up an extra 10 cents going into 205. Consolidated. Tried again. They did remove this liquidity up here. It wasn't that much, but then it stalled, and then there was no bid follow-up. All right. So a couple things I was explaining to one of my buddies too is that you'll be able to see this a lot more clear. And if you look down here, you got seconds, 5, 10, 15 seconds, to make a decision to, hey, let me scale, let me get out before you start seeing some big pullbacks or dumps like this, because there's no true bid support, right? You can clearly see that, but there is enough bids if you did have some size or whatever, doesn't matter, size or no size, to actually scale out and get filled right there before it dumps. And then they did a book flip at 194s. This was controlled for a while. As you can see, they're starting to pull this. There was actually another trade that I took, 173s, because I saw the same type of seller exhaustion right here. Sellers get absorbed, consolidates, and then a new bidder comes in, 172s. And they do the same thing right here again, where you see some sellers get absorbed, they get exhausted, and they throw up another bid. And then you start to see this try to make another leg into 194. Now, 194s, this is what's important. There's 175K right there. Almost all of that gets absorbed and removed. So that passive order almost gets removed, but it cannot break out. 194 to me was an important level moving forward, right? Because this tries multiple times. 194 kind of breaks 194 right here, but then this is when I started to soak. And let me really good breakdown zone. Breakdown zones, remember guys, don't forget to draw your breakdown zones. Breakdown zones are important because if it's going to start consolidating and soaking, all you saw It was kind of funny. I was talking to Jared about this. This thing put in 1,000,000 higher lows. It just started putting higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, over and over and over again, which is cool. So I participated again back in this, and all I did was kept soaking, soaking. Every dip that pulled back and held this breakdown zone right here, I started to add, and then I was able to get really a third move out of this one. So I did trade this 3 times. I did trade around a core. I did average up into this, but I thought this one was great. The only thing that happened is that really key thing. It's important to have to be paying attention to a lot of things. Whether it's the book, level 2, volume, things like that. An important key factor too is it was nice to see this volume divergence break right here. And this thing needed to go. So we had increasing 5-minute VPA, but then once this thing broke out and started to accelerate, we had decreasing volume with increasing price action. And then when it tried to break out, this put in a huge, almost 1 million 1-minute candlestick and could not break out. And then again on the book, right up here, same situation where first down below where they didn't have, like, again, bid support right here, and then bid support up here when we started to break out. Same thing again. After a while, you'll be able to see how a stock is being auctioned, and then you'll be able to trade it accordingly. Okay, so I did the same thing up here. So you actually did have some time to get out once you see this kind of removing this liquidity. No bids are piling up, and then there's no more appetite on the best bid, or sorry, best offer, right? So nobody's actually aggressively slapping this anymore, and you do have some time down here. Like you got, literally as it starts to test these levels from here, you got about 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds to start making, maybe 30 seconds to start making that conscious decision on when to bail out, because if there's no bid support and we start selling into whatever small bids they are, price action just starts dumping, and this I finally gave out. So that was a great one. I'll save WISA for last. JAGX. I was so locked in the PRSO that I missed the long. This was a great one. I'll start with the daily again. Moose was one of the guys, and a lot of people in Black Ranger in the room caught it. A lot of these guys nailed this trade on the long side, which is phenomenal. I was actually kind of jealous because it was 14-cent stock. I could have sized into this pretty heavy, and getting a 10-cent return on something like this for the amount of it percent gapped is crazy. But again, great daily. Again, I like to see these sideways actions, potential tests into previous areas, and then it finally gaps over it. And then 13s and 14 cents were previous day high volume VWAP days. I like to trade and build a thesis around how that's setting up, where we're setting up, how the structure is, and the volume around that area, and how aggressive buyers and bidders are going to be in that area. So this one was a great one. All right, this one was phenomenal. Okay, all around. Zoom out. I saw it. It was delaying up there. I don't know what's going on. I just hope the internet. Okay, now we're good. All right, so this did finally pop, consolidate, and catch. But as you can see, this pop consolidated a day prior, and someone did put this on the map and thought, hey, maybe today's a day, but it didn't. Today was actually a day. We did gap up above an important area, did trade above this pivot right here, and even that this thing had a nice weak open. And then over here on the book, I did not I did not catch this long, but I caught the short on this, and I was so happy about this. All right, I missed this, but I did catch a 24.79 short up here. Once I saw them break through this area, understanding that we just pretty much went parabolic up only into the daily 200 SMA down here, and also this window gap. All right, let me zoom out a little bit more. So this thing had a nice window gap to fill. It broke through that and got extended almost up to the very top of it. So I was able to, thankfully, TOS had some shares. And JAGX is a dilution king. All right, and this one was great because once it actually broke, it tested it once and tested it twice, and then it finally broke down. I thought it was going to go red on the day, and I was going to be so juiced because you know, a lot of people, they did have 15s averaged on this, and they caught a nice move, and I was able to get 24.79 short. I thought this was a phenomenal. Once they pulled this bid and there was no appetite on there, I just started shorting as much as I could, and before it started to actually give out right there. And then after that, this thing just started to sell into all these bids. They were starting to pull bids, and once they start pulling bids, they would start dropping again. You know, another penny. It consolidated for a little bit over here, but sold into these bids. This is where it actually tried to do a lower high bounce, no bid support, and finally they threw in some offers, and it just came, you know, all the way back down. You know, JAGX is a dilution king. This one was a great one. I'll be watching this one for maybe continuation. Let's see what that. WISA. WISA was phenomenal. Shout out to Sally because he put this one on the map. This one did actually set up a nice 5-minute flag over a previous area. All right. My internet is down. It is down. Okay. We got the one. Okay. Let's see. It's saying it's delayed again. I am not doing this over again. Okay. This did pop up right here, and it flagged on the 5 and pulled back to this previous area and did not break down. And that was, I scalped that one. Yeah, I know. I did scalp this move, and then I got out on that one. I thought I was going to dump. WISA is WISA. But I want to show you something on the book after that. $4, okay? This was that flag, by the way, too. It pulled back to a previous area. And the reason why I took this one is because a bid came in right here. A little bit thicker bid, 12,000. Came in, I was over that nice. It did pop up and then flag over a previous area of interest, and also you know, orb, things like that on the chart. Let me see if it's gonna pop up yet. But nonetheless, the actual banger trade of this was identifying this $4 area. Oh man, this was actually phenomenal. Once I was locked back in and paying attention, once we remove this liquidity, immediately a bidder pops up right here. Price action starts to go and actually pulls back, and this is another great example. Same thing as PRSO, you know, JAGX, and all these other videos that I talk about. This is some seller exhaustion, then this bid comes in right here. Another seller gets absorbed because they did have a bid right here, guys. Okay, it's super important to see. A bid comes in, a seller comes in, takes that bid out, but then it's sellers are exhausted. Okay, thin, right? They tried again over here. I actually got 419s on this one. Again, sellers try to come in. There's no bid support too, so this name was acting pretty crazy, pretty volatile, as they would say. But then after that, some bids came in again. They actually stacked it a little bit heavier. You can see this clearly, bids right here. We got 12, 10, 10. Let me spread that. So we got a couple of 10s, a couple of 12s, or 112, and you know, 1, 2, 3. So total we got, what's that? 20, 30, about 40,000 worth of bids sitting on the book from 4 to 405. Once I saw this, I hit it, but I actually wanted to take it off 410, but it just shot up right away, so I got filled 419. It was actually happened that quick. This was a phenomenal trade. Okay. I was actually talking to J-Ret too while I was in. I was like, yo, I'm in this trade right now. This is crazy. He's like, yeah, it halted up. One of the great things, it halted up right here, guys. Cavill did something very similar to this where it halted up and then it unhalts lower than it halted. Okay, that's super, super important to. Oh, sorry, happened right here. Tripping. Okay, I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Um, it happened right here and then swiped and then made new highs. Okay, this is phenomenal to see, especially if you're in it already. Cavill did this right here. Okay, this is where right here. Cavill did this too. It actually gapped down lower, consolidated, and ripped and started to make new highs. Came back again, retested these areas, halt code areas, the unhalt areas, and then proceeded to go higher. So, you know, to me, a little bit of the same of price auctioning going on right there. To get 4 points out of a move from holding, I only took 2,200 shares on this one too. You know, it's crazy because I didn't size into this one, and this is the one that goes 4 points, and I'm sitting there hitting these other ones super aggressive, and you know I'm getting like 30 cents. I got you know, a good 8 cents on JAGX, but it was crazy overall. Great day though, nonetheless. But this name was phenomenal. I mean, a couple good key takeaways too. Same thing like I had my other video on TPET, was there was a lot of 5-minute volume divergence, like nice stair step down, volume divergence breakout, right? Increasing 5-minute volume. Okay. You know, same thing again. Consolidates sideways, gets real light, and then we start to see some crazy look left volume, where you see this volume peaking out the whole entire time. And this is when it halted right here, unhalted down a little lower, tried again, and then failed. But WISA, you know, if it wasn't for the book though, and like zooming out, and for me actually like seeing this, seeing how clear this $4 was being supported, and then seeing these breakdown zones have no follow through, I would have never traded that and caught a really nice crazy move up here on this one. They did a lot of book flips, right? This is great. This is a good example of removing some liquidity, sorry, and then breaking through this, and someone throw a little spoof bid, 34,000 shares, and it helps the price drive harder either direction, right? If you got an offer, it might shove it down to go lower to look for the lower liquidity. If they put a bid up, it might chase higher liquidity. Okay, super, super key. After $5 though, the book was pretty much thin. You know, once we started to break out over these offers right here, this is a nice pullback to a previous area of interest. More bid support came in, right? This same exact type of structure right here literally happened right here. Okay. You know, just on a like it looks a little bit like, you know, on a smaller type of time frame setup, but nothing different from seeing something like this over there and then seeing it right here. Okay, this little area right here where we remove the liquidity, we pull back, consolidate, and they throw another offer up right here, you know, and they start to remove the liquidity, and then a bid comes in. See, look how heavy the bids come in right here at 6. Goes right into a halt right after that. So this one was great. You know, getting 4 points even on 2,200 shares is sweet. You know, it's crazy. I was like, you know, I was telling my buddy today, I'm like, every name today I tried, I played the way I normally play them. You know, I soak, I build a nice core, and they don't go. They don't go. You know, granted, you know, when you trade a little bit of size, sometimes 30 cents is really nice, 20 cents is nice, 10 cents on JAGX or close to 8 to 10 cents on JAGX is phenomenal, right? Depending on how many shares you have sometimes. But great trading day today. There's plenty of examples on all these 3 names, guys. If you got the book, of plenty of examples of seller exhaustion, sellers getting absorbed. PRSO, great example of buyers getting absorbed, no bids, and then no more follow through. I wish that daily like performed a little bit better again, but that didn't happen. But all right, guys, much love. Peace out, Mikey.